All right, Nick, let's talk about the Chicago Bears. Everyone has got to be excited about this Bears team. Caleb Williams is in town. We're getting to see him sling it on the field finally. He's got a bunch of weapons out there. And I really think things, after a little bit of a rough start, but what can you expect for a rookie? Things are turning around. I think there's some key reasons why as well. But let's talk about his performance first of all. I'll get into the article or tweet rather, and we'll talk about it more on the other side. This is from over on X, and this from Nicholas Moreno. It says completely different result today in 7-on-7s for Caleb Williams. Only one incomplete pass, which happened on the final rep. Williams' best pass was a deep touchdown throw to DJ Moore in the middle of the field. His second best throw was a nice layered throw to John Jackson near the left sideline. Rome Odunze ran a vertical route against Terrell Smith down the right side, and Odunze drew a pass interference call. Much better than the first couple of reports we had from this crew, but I think, what do you expect? They're going to get better with time. New system. It's a rookie player. But Nick, I think there's a key reason as to why this is looking so good so early. I want to hear your thoughts on this one. But before we go to you Bears fans in the comment section below, we're going to talk about the offense a lot today. I want you to let us know, what are you most excited about on the defensive side of the ball for the Bears? Which players are you looking for? Is there any rookies that you think maybe can stand out on the defensive side of the ball for the Chicago Bears? Let us know in the comment section below. But Nick, what are your thoughts on this latest report for the Bears?
Look, anytime this time of year when it comes to tracking performance in OTAs, generally I'm like, I don't really care, right? Because it's practice to practice, week to week. It can fluctuate, especially with a rookie. And we all know it really only matters when the pads come on, and of course, when the preseason games start, and then when the regular season starts. But this Bears situation is different. This isn't like a normal number one overall pick like last year with Bryce Young, Carolina Panthers, when that was a dumpster fire of a team and everybody knew it, right? The Houston Texans last year with CJ Stroud surprised a lot of people, but here's the reality of it. The Bears are a whole lot better on paper roster wise than even the Houston Texans were last year before CJ Stroud took them to the division title. We've got a couple reports to highlight that. Let's jump into the first one real quick. This is from ESPN. It says, yes, Williams easily has the best situation of any quarterback chosen number one at least since 1980. In my value estimates, the difference between the Bears skill players and the 2009 Lions, number two on the list, is roughly the same gap between the Lions and the number 12 team, Jeff George, and the 1990 Colts. What's ESPN saying here is that the Bears, Ryan Poles, have built such a good roster around Caleb Williams that the gap between one, the Bears 2024, and two, the 2009 Lions is as big as the gap between 2 and 12, meaning the Bears situation is just absolutely far better than any other number one overall pick in NFL history. And there's not the only guy saying this, ESPN. Let's go into this other report. This is courtesy of PFF. They wrote, I'm opening myself up to some criticism here as Williams has yet to play a single down of NFL football. PFF ranked Williams the number 19 quarterback, 19 quarterback in the entire NFL in the preseason rankings. And they said, but I'm a draft guy. So to watch Williams at USC and scout what I think he is capable of in the NFL and rank him below guys I think he's better than, even in 2024, would be disingenuous. Williams has a natural gift to be an impactful football player in year one. He'll be surrounded by some stud receivers. Again, we're hearing more and more of this, and what is hopefully a good offensive line. The big question for him is whether all the Superman plays at USC were out of desperation or if that is his identity. We're starting to see it's not his identity, right? He's being efficient in practice. Again, it's all coming together. If it was out of desperation and he can be comfortable playing in structure, which he's starting to show, he could be in for a big year. If he continues to play backyard football too much, 2024 might be a wild ride. Again, what we're starting to see, and this is where we're kind of corroborating evidence here, we're noticing a trend here, is that Caleb Williams with this structure, with this talent, which is far better than any other number one overall pick, is starting to play efficient. They're starting to play a lot better. They're starting to play together. And I tell you what, everyone was blown away by the Houston Texans last year, going from where they were to winning their division. I know this is a tough NFC North. Lions look good. Packers look good. But the reality is the Bears on paper look really, really good. Certainly on offense. Defense is a little underrated too, in my opinion. And Caleb Williams is a better prospect than CJ Stroud was. And if Caleb Williams can be just even 80% of his maximum potential, this isn't a Bears team that wins 7 games, 8 games, or 9 games. This is a playoff team from the Chicago Bears. I know it's early and I don't want to get the hype train going too much, but I really think there's a lot of momentum. And it starts with Caleb Williams looking like he's starting to figure it out and get looking pretty dangerous right now for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, Nick, and when you talk about the Texans and you talk about, number 1 overall picks and what they go to, you talk about Caleb Williams, and you just gotta look at his rosters, like you said, this roster is crazy. They have a first round receiver on their receiving core. They have Keenan Allen and they have DJ Moore. Keenan Allen, probably I'll say borderline a guy that if he keeps going, he could be considered Hall of very, very good or Hall of Fame type player. This guy has consistently done at a very high level for an extremely long time. Then on the other side, you have a younger guy, DJ Moore, who also has been doing very good lately. You look at the Texans. I think the receivers are great, but I think talking about the situation that CJ Stroud came into, nobody knew that they were good in the beginning. They're all very young. They're proven. Did CJ Stroud make them good, or were they good in their own right? Who's to say? But I think Caleb Williams coming in, he has so many known guys that we know can still produce at a high level. It's so crazy. And then you look at the other example, the Carolina Panthers. Could you imagine if the Panthers had a guy like DJ Moore? It really would have set up, Bryce Young pretty well. But, the Bears, they're winning that fight too. So I like what the Bears did. We talked about this a lot last year. And no one really listened to us until maybe getting closer and closer to draft time when we figured out the Bears had the first overall pick. We said the great thing about the Bears is they had so many first round picks that they could leverage from the trade of number 1 overall last year. They were able to build a roster and then have Justin Fields or have the capital to get up there and get the number 1 overall pick, which they ended up getting anyways. But they were able to trade Fields away and get the quarterback they wanted. So they built the roster. Justin Fields wasn't the guy. They go after Caleb Williams. I think they've been planning this, and I think if you look back a few years, Ryan Poles has made a really nice roadmap to how this team is going to be structured.